So long, 2019. Hello, 2020. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario.
Woohoo! Let's go!
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you've had a great year so far. I hope 2019 was great for you, honestly. I hope that everything's going great so far. Sorry I missed the last couple of days. I was out of town. I was in Mexico. Or I was working. Or I had people here in my house. And same issue I've encountered in Christmas. Apparently it's rude to just give your back to everybody and just start recording your podcast. Weird. I didn't know that was a thing. Sorry, that was my phone. But I'm back. Welcome to 2020. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I have big plans for 2020. Actually, 2019 was pretty good for me. 2019 was pretty good for me. But before I forget, let me just give you a quick reminder that you can find the podcast anywhere. iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict. Anywhere. Just type in Super Dario World Podcast. You'll find it right there. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dario the Show or at Super Dario World or on my Facebook fan page at Super Dario World. Easiest way for you to contact me. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, those are the easiest ways for you to contact me right there. So, what was I saying? Yeah, 2019 was pretty good for me. First off, my older brother and his wife, well, my sister-in-law, I guess that's what you call them in English. Yeah, my sister-in-law, they had their first baby, little baby Maya. I'm very thankful. I'm very happy about that. I also started this podcast. I'm a couple hundred episodes in by now, I think. Maybe getting close to there. I don't know, but it's going good. I have big plans for it for the future. I finally got it started, and so far it's going good. I also finally completed my lifelong dream of petting and playing with Black Panther. I mean the actual animal, not the not the group, not a person from the group. No, an actual, like, a baby Black Panther. Well, it was closer to a youngling, not a baby, more like a teenager Black Panther, specifically a leopard Black Panther. And there's a difference. That was it's one of my favorite all-time animals. It's my favorite feline for sure. It might actually be my favorite animal now that I think about it. At least, wild one, not counting dogs and stuff. And so I got to do that, which was great for me. It was a great moment. It was maybe one of the happiest moments of my life. I finally managed to get a couple of reptilian pets, which I've wanted my entire life. I got a baby firefly ball python named Serenity, and a baby Nile monitor named Darkstar. I'm very thankful for those. If you want to check them out, today I uploaded a story of them both. You can see they're about 6 months old, so you can see their size right now. That one I uploaded only at Dario the Show. So if you want to check them out, they're right there. So yeah, it was a good year for me, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with how most of the things worked out. There were some ups and downs. There were some things that were unlucky. There were some things that really bothered me. But overall, can't complain. Overall, it was a pretty successful year. So, very happy about that. Now, I have a lot of plans for the future, and I know that this is the time of year when everybody's like, oh, have resolutions and stuff like that, and plans for 2020. I'm not a big resolution guy. I have issues with it. To me, I'm more of a goal-oriented person. To me, it's good to have. I like having an objective and a timetable for it. Otherwise, it's just a dream. Like, if you just say, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do something. What is it? A plan without a timeline is just a dream. I think that's how it goes. I'm not sure. But, yeah, so to me, it's like you find an objective, you give yourself a timeline, and you go for it. Now, the key thing here is adapting to change. Now, there's a lot of things that change. That's always something that I tell people. You need to be able to adapt to new situations. For example, I gave myself like a timeline, and I said to myself that if a certain thing did not happen by the end of 2019, that I was gonna move out of California. I was gonna go somewhere else. I already had a plan of where to go and kind of what to do and where to look for a new job and stuff like that. But life got in the way. Other stuff got in the way. Another opportunity that seemed more attractive. It requires more work, but in the end, and in the grand scheme of things, I felt like it's a better option. Also, I'm a risk taker, so it's like it felt like, oh, this is a better idea. So you need to adapt. You can't be too what is it, set in your ways or too firm on an idea, you need to change. Especially when a good thing pops your way or, a good opportunity. Also, I like taking risks on myself, so, I changed on that. And overall, like I said, I have a bunch of objectives for this podcast. I'm planning on making an aggressive expansion. One thing that I do need to learn, I need to start collaborating a little bit more. Maybe I'm too much of a control freak. I like doing everything myself. I unfortunately just don't have the time for it. And also, I kind of enjoyed like the little thing that I had with my brother as a guest. It was fun. So I'd be like, all right, maybe this year I'll start. I'm set with what I can do. Let's start bringing a little bit more cooperation. So I already have a plan with a friend of mine that I like, a project that he has going on. So I'm going to help him out. I'll be talking about more of this stuff when it happens. I don't like announcing things unless I know they're going to happen for sure, because otherwise I end up looking like an idiot. I've learned that the hard way. So yeah, big plans. Big plans for 2020. The objectives just keep growing, man. Keep grinding it out. Keep grinding it out. Doing it the hard way. So hopefully you'll join me for that ride. The ups and downs, the successes and failures. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. Also, let me think. Like, if I'm thinking like in the grand scheme of things, like the ideal job, like the ideal thing that where I'd like this podcast to go, like the dream would probably be to, be able to take the show on the road, man. Take the show on the road. Like basically just travel around the world, doing my podcast, exploring new things, playing with new animals. Dude, I would love to be Steve Irwin. I would have loved to have had like that show. That would have been great. So find a way to do that. Just, travel around the world and keep being able to do the podcast. The beauty of doing a podcast is that basically all you need is a computer and a mic, and headphones help. Well, you need something to talk about, and if you're traveling around the world, I'm guessing I'd have a lot to talk about. I know that one's kind of a pipe dream because also you need a home base for other stuff that I want to plan and other objectives that I have. But it's fun to dream. It's fun to dream. It's that one is something that I don't have a timeline for. So that one may end up just being like a hobby for the future. The future. But yeah, it's overall. my recommendation is, don't make New Year's resolutions. Give yourself objectives. Make a plan. Make something clear. Like, I'll give you an example. What's the most common thing that people make themselves is like, okay, this is my New Year's resolution. Let's say something that has to do with fitness and health or a diet or working out and stuff like that. Don't just say, my New Year's resolution this year is to work out more. Make a plan. And if you're new to working out or something, I would not recommend going immediately into a gym. That's hard. Honestly, it's kind of hard. Being fit is not easy, all right? Exercising is not easy. Like, if it were easy, then everybody would be walking around with 8 packs and being totally ripped. That's not a thing that happens. And I don't know why people try to pretend like it is. Once you start going, it gets easier because you get stronger. That is a fact. But starting is hard. Keeping it going is harder. So, especially because, and I've noticed a lot of people make this mistake. I even made this mistake in life. You go too hard, too fast. So if you're like, all right, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm gonna get a membership. I'm going to go every single day. That I've found is a mistake because first off, sometimes people don't really know what to do, and you kind of feel out of place. You kind of feel like an idiot. Now, I get it. I know. I see the other side of this argument being like, okay, but now you have the financial incentive to go because you've signed up and you're spending money on it, and now you'll feel like an a-hole or like you're just wasting money if you don't go. That is true. But in the long run, I don't think like that's sustainable. Like going to the gym and working out, instead of being something that brings joy to your life, it could be a deterrent. So first off, I think you want to do a little bit of stuff that sets you up for going to the gym. And it could be something pretty simple. Like and just working out a little bit at home. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some crunches, a little bit of cardio. I just started doing this month on December. I started doing jump rope. Honestly, it's great cardio. It's great cardio. Half an hour of jump rope is about the same as riding a bike for like an hour. You burn a very similar amount of calories. It's a pretty great workout, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody can jump a rope if you've done it when you were a kid, or you can just, again, bicycle or just walking up and down stairs. Don't use a Stairmaster. That's stupid. Walking up and down stairs, completely different than using a Stairmaster. My argument here is that I've seen a person walk on a Stairmaster for like an hour, and that same person walks up 3 flights of stairs, or like, and they're winded. It's not the same thing. With the Stairmaster, you're using gravity to help you push down. With actual stairs, you're going up against gravity because you have to lift your entire body. It's a completely different thing. So I have an issue with Stairmasters, okay? It's better to just have stuff and do it at home. Now, eventually, if you reach a point where you're starting to feel a little bit better, a little bit strong, you want to get a trainer. Trainers are good, but you don't want to go to the gym just, when you're not ready for it. Also, the issue of going too hard too fast, then here's what happens when you work out. When you work out, you're destroying muscle. That is essentially what you're doing. That's why the next day your body hurts a lot, because you destroyed weak muscle and you're going to be regenerating new, stronger muscle. That is what happens. That's why it hurts. So if you go too hard one day, let's say you do bicep one day, you go really hard, or you do leg one day, right? That's what happens. That's what kills most people. You do leg one day, the next day you can't walk. Why? Because you went too hard. It was too much for your body to take. So the key is knowing your limits, right? You need to know what your limit is and stop a few paces before. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say that in a day, the most push-ups you can do, because you're brand new to this, you're a brand new beginner. The most you can do is 20 push-ups. So let's say that's your limit, 20 push-ups. That's the point, that if you reach those 20 push-ups, you won't be able to lift your arms anymore. Like, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's your limit. That's as much as you can do on one round, and you'd be done after that, right? Well, then you want to stop somewhere around 10. Why? So instead of if 20 is your limit, you want to stop at 10. Why? Because if you reach your limit, that means that the next day, you destroyed so much muscles that you won't be able to do any more push-ups the next day, and that kind of discourages you from doing other exercises. Also, let's say you'll do it one day, you'll rest one day, and you'll do it again the next day. You'll rest, and you'll do it again the next day. So in a week, you'll do it maybe 3 times. So you'll do a grand total of 60 push-ups, right, in a week. But if you do it another way, if you just do 10 every day, and since you didn't really go too hard, or you didn't go extremely hard, and you didn't push yourself that much, then if you can do 10 push-ups every day, and you do 10, that means that in a whole week, without really exerting yourself too much, you did 70 push-ups. Now, I know a lot of people think that you should do everything together at once. I've found that even a little by little, you get there. And so one week you do that, 10. Next week you do 11. Next week you do 12. Every single day. You start getting stronger. You start building yourself up slowly. And the big thing is that you don't really feel the negative. You feel more of the positives than the negatives, meaning that your body won't hurt as much the next day, so you will feel stronger, so you will be encouraged to be doing it more and more. Again, 10 push-ups, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's just to give you an example. Do a little bit less than your limit. Well, not a little bit, do a lot less than your limit, and do it every day. It's way better. Consistency is way more important than intensity when you're talking about working out. So that's an example for that type of goal. Or let's say, like, oh, my resolution for this year is I want to read more. Well, give yourself some goals. Like, I'll read 1 book a month. That's not bad. I'll read 6 books in the whole year. That's doable. I mean, you could actually do that in 1 month, but it depends on the book or how long it is. Or I will finish this particular book series or whatever. Give yourself goals. Be clear. Be precise. Also, writing them down helps. I don't know why, but writing things down makes things more real for us. So I would recommend that. That's my take. That's why I don't do resolutions. I give myself objectives, and I honestly don't care if it's the new year. Every single time that I see a new opportunity, I just give myself a new goal, and I just go for it. So that's what I do. But some people like the whole new year thing. So if that's you. That's my recommendation. Anyway, so I also have some predictions. For 2020, the things that I feel like it's going to go. And the big one that has to do with kind of what I talk about the most, which is what I talk about 3 things. Basically, well, I talk about a lot of dumb stuff, but what I talk about the most is what? TV shows, movies, video games. So this one actually has to do with TV shows and movies. So I think that 2020 is the year that Netflix is finally going to change the way that they release their shows. I think it's it's about time that they realize that they have to do a massive, and I mean massive, change in their formula. They're going to be losing Friends pretty soon. They're going to be losing The Office pretty soon, which is what their biggest drawers. Like, apparently those are the most watched shows on Netflix, and they're about to lose them. So they need to find a way to keep people there. And I think that this change will come about from the success of The Mandalorian. Now, it also has to do with The Witcher. And by the way, I will be continuing my review with The Witcher, but it's kind of related to this. It's difficult because everybody's already seen the whole episodes. The issue with unleashing all of the episodes at once, it's very convenient if you're a binge watcher, but what their objective was with The Witcher is to become the new Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones had the beauty that every single week you could talk with, went to work, you talked with your coworkers. Did you see this? Oh my God, you got to build up. There was a build up to it. There was something you expected out of every episode. Even The Mandalorian, there's a perfect example. It's a stream show. It's only streamed on Disney Plus, and it was a weekly thing. And every single week there was a new Baby Yoda meme. Every single week people were talking about it, and they were excited for, let's see this, let's see that. So you need to spread episodes out. At first, it was cool. Now, with the way the competition is doing it, I think that Netflix is finally going to get their act together, and they're going to start spreading their content out. Like, I would have loved to have had The Witcher, like, on a weekly thing. I mean, it's hard. I'm a binge watcher. I like sitting there and just watching the whole thing. But there's also something to creating, let's say, a cultural movement, which, again, is what Game of Thrones did. Every week, everybody talked about, the water cooler conversations? Game of Thrones dominated a lot of those. Why? Because it's the show that everybody was watching every week. There was a build-up. There was expectation for every next episode. Or if you're like me, you just hated on it every week. There's something to it. And I think that 2020 is the year that Netflix is going to flip the switch on their formula. And honestly, I think it would be for the better. And it's what they need to do if they want to stay on par with the competition, because otherwise, like I said before, I think that Netflix is the one that's going to be losing out on the streaming wars. Right now it's the giant, but Amazon's making some pretty great TV shows, and with the Lord of the Rings coming up soon, I hope that the Lord of the Rings is a weekly thing. I really do. But they're going to be taking over a bit. YouTube's making shows now. Disney Plus is out, and like I said, NBC is going to make their own stuff. So if they want to stay competitive, they're going to need to change that. Otherwise, it's going to be like, all right, I watch Netflix once and that's it. I'm moving on to something else that I can watch. Or sometimes you just stop. It's too much. You don't really go back to it. Like I was talking about with The Witcher. I'm going to review every single episode, but after watching it once, it's kind of hard to go back and invest 8 hours to rewatch every single episode just so I can make a podcast about it. It was hard. And there's a lot that happens there, so off the top of my head, I don't exactly remember what happened in episode 3. I need to go back and, okay, this is what happened in this episode. It's just too much. It's too much info that comes by too quickly. Honestly, I should have probably just done a season review for it, but whatever. Live and learn. Live and learn, right? Anyway, so I think that one of my bold predictions is that that's going to be changing, or Netflix should. They should have a massive formula change. Another prediction, thing that everybody cares about, the Super Bowl. Who do I think is going to make it to the Super Bowl, and who do I think is going to win it? Now, if I'm being honest, to me, the ideal Super Bowl, the dream Super Bowl, would probably be Patriots versus the Saints, and it would be a retirement match. Loser, Brady versus Breeze. Loser has to retire. The wrestling fan in me would love it. You would love it. I think it would be the most watched Super Bowl ever. Is it going to happen? No. Doubt it. Now, it's likely that the Saints make it to the Super Bowl. With the Patriots, it's hard. Now, it's really difficult because of the best head coach in the NFL is Bill Belichick, and he's the head coach of the Patriots. So they're never really out. The Patriots are never really out. This season is too difficult. They're too injured. They're too weak. Well, compared to other seasons. So I don't see it happening. It's possible. Now, honestly, I think the most likely scenario here, it will be Ravens versus Seahawks. Let me explain why. And for full transparency, My family does a thing for the playoffs where everybody gets a certain team for the playoffs, and so you're randomly assigned a team for the playoffs. So they give you a seed, right? Let's say, for example, I'll just use my example. My seed this year randomly was N5, which means the 5th seed in the NFC. So weeks ago, I knew that I was going to get either the 49ers or the Seahawks. I ended up getting the Seahawks, so I needed to clarify that. But I also need to clarify why I don't think... Because it may sound like I'm being biased, but I need to clarify why I don't think that's being biased. So, throughout the season... I need to clarify that. All right. Actually, no, I'll explain. As I was watching the final game of the season, 49ers versus Seahawks, I was actively rooting for the Seahawks to lose. I wanted to have the Seahawks. I really, really, really wanted to get the Seahawks. And again, full transparency, I got the Seahawks this season when they went when it was the Legion of Boom, and they went up against the Broncos, and they just destroyed them in the Super Bowl. So it might be that I still have fond memories of winning with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, but that's not it. That's not it. I object. Honestly, I really wanted them to be my team because I felt that, first off, they came in really injured, and throughout the playoffs, certain players are going to be back. Like Clowney's going to come back, and first, I think the Eagles are going to be a cakewalk. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty easy for them. They should not really lower their guard, but I think it should be easy for them. They're getting their safety back, so it's going to be a stronger team. They've already beaten the 49ers at home, so I'm not really too worried about that. Green Bay seems kind of weak this season. And the only real threat there is the Saints. And I don't know. There's something about being there before, and Brees has been there before, and, well, the Sean Payton has been there before. But Pete Carroll, to me, seems like a better head coach. Right now, I think Russell Wilson might, well, at least this season is the most impressive quarterback I've seen. Don't get me wrong, Lamar Jackson, what he did was amazing, but seeing Russell Wilson run for his life every single game, make all the plays, it was extremely impressive. So I think that he had the best season. The numbers might not show that, but to me, it's the guy that impressed me the most. So I was happy with there, and honestly, I think it will end up being a Ravens-Seahawks Super Bowl, but we'll see. We'll see. And also, I mean, if I'm already picking my dog to be there, I'm going to pick them to win. So I think the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, another prediction that I have for this year is that I think it'll be either the death. I'll just go for it. I think it'll be the death of PC culture. I think that most of us are kind of tired with it. There's something about people whining that's really annoying. There's something about people trying to police the way you talk, the way you think, that's really annoying. And at first, it's like, okay, maybe I'll listen to what you have to say a little bit. But there's a point when you're like, yeah, you're just a dick, and I don't want to listen to you anymore. And I think we're at that point. I think society's at that point. Also, it's because things are kind of going pretty well right now, and like the economy-wise. And so when you have food on the table, when your bills are getting paid, when you got money in your pocket, most people don't really feel like complaining or rocking the boat. So it's like, you know what, just shut up. Just stop complaining about stupid things. Like, I'll give you an example. Like Sky, she said that she wanted to switch, her school from Secret Santa to Secret Snowman, which I thought was really stupid. And here's the thing about the PC culture and being and her excuse is like, I want to be inclusive. Which is very weird when people say that I want to be inclusive by excluding things. My idea of inclusivity requires you to exclude some stuff. Why? I don't know. It's stupid. But whatever. That's their mentality, right? And so to me, the thing is that if you want to be offended by something, first off, people who get offended by stuff, kind of annoying, and I've already mentioned this before. But also, you can always be offended by literally anything. So let's say, let's not do Secret Santa. Let's do Secret Snowman because some people are not, I don't know, Christian or don't believe in Santa, so it's offensive, or they only celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, so it would be offensive to them. So let's make it Secret Snowman. I was like, all right, well, I'm in San Diego. We can't make snowmen here, so it's offensive to me that you're picking snowmen because we can't make snowmen here. So it's ridiculous. No matter what you choose, somebody will find a way to be offended by it. And honestly, it gets pretty tiring. It gets pretty boring. And I think culturally, we're at the point where you're like, just shut the fuck up. We don't care. Stop whining. Things are going well. Stop whining. It's the worst. People who... Yeah, you ever hung out with somebody who all they do is complain? Literally all they do. No solutions. No nothing. Just nag. They're a drag, man. They're a drain. You don't want to really bring them anywhere. It's really annoying. It's like you're not providing anything. You're not providing any benefits. You're only a negative. And it's really annoying. And I have to watch what I say when I'm with you. I have to watch the certain things that I say. I can't hang out with certain people who just say certain things because you'll get offended, and then I have to hear all your fucking drama about it. It's stupid. And I think, as society, we're kind of over it. So I think that it'll be the death of PC culture. Also, fun cultural fact. And this is something that I don't really understand why more people don't talk about it. PC culture, do you know where the term comes from? Political correctness? It was created by the commies, by the Russians, as a way to... It was basically a way to shut you up and put you in jail, and, well, we'll put you in a gulag where you would die. So, let's say I'm the government. I'm an authoritarian government, the communist government. I am Stalin. And how can I find an excuse to arrest you? Oh, yeah, we're talking about something I don't like? That is not politically correct. So I'm going to arrest you, put you in the gulag, and you will die. So, that's where that term came from. Look it up. That's legitimately where it came from. It was used to arrest people and send them to death. Historical ignorance baffles me sometimes. Anyway, so moving on from that, another bold prediction. Well, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit. And the big one, what's going to happen in 2020, the big election, right? That's the big thing that's going to happen in 2020. Honestly, looking at all the signs, reading all. By the way, for those of you who don't know this, I love politics. I love politics. I find them hysterical. The people who say reality is stranger than fiction, it's true. And the Trump show has been fucking hysterical. Everybody's losing their minds, and I love it. And so it's a bull running through the ivory tower. It's hysterical. And so I find that really funny. But I like making bold predictions, and I like seeing things objectively. And so adding up the polls, adding up everything, pretty much how the way things are going, I think Trump takes this one. The incumbent already has an advantage, and like I said, the economy. It's hard to argue against the economy, and here's the thing. When most people reach the ballots, they're going to be like, well, the economy's doing good. Do I really want to rock the boat? I don't think it's going to be like an overwhelming a bunch of people voting for Trump. I think his base is going to come out, but I think the other side's not going to come out. They're going to be like, well, I mean, I'm not really excited for any of the other candidates, so let's just not rock the boat. I won't vote this one. Whatever happens, happens. I think that's going to be how it plays out. Also, and this is something that I don't think I've talked about, but I usually don't try to get into politics in this one, but I just thought it was like the dumbest strategy ever. And to me, this was the nail on the coffin for 2020 for the Democrats. The impeachment thing, here's the weird part. If you impeach the president, it has to go to the Senate, right? Which means there's a trial in the Senate, and the jurors are senators. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but 5 of the candidates for president of the Democratic side are senators. And the biggest ones, mainly Warren and Sanders, are senators. So they would have to be in Washington during the trial, the whole trial, just sitting there quietly. You know what that doesn't allow them to do? Go out in the campaign trail. You know what made Hillary lose? Not going out and campaigning enough. So I never understood why they would actually do the impeachment thing if they knew that it was going to go to the Senate and their biggest candidates would be stuck there, not being able to do or campaign in any way. It was just really also because Joe Biden would his name would be just completely destroyed. Like the polls after that have not been good for Joe Biden, really, really bad. And him calling a guy fat really didn't help. So yeah, I thought that was a really strange strategy. Maybe the worst political strategy I've ever seen. So add that terrible strategy with the economy and the incumbent advantage. I like I said, you may not like it, but if I'm making a prediction, I think that's going to be it. Sorry. I mean, you don't have to like it. I think that's the way it's going to go. Anyway, The final prediction that I have this year, I think this 2020 will be the year that eSports finally hits mainstream. Now, I know that eSports have been on the rise every single year. They've been successful, but have they really hit mainstream? Have we really ever have like a superstar out there? Do we really know about a tournament? I think this might be the year it breaks out. I think that the opportunities there, the financial incentives there, and as people tune out from other stuff, there's an opportunity there. Especially, also there's a generation that's really interested in it. So I think, like I said, esports will have a big, big year. Or at least I hope so, because I'm kind of banking on it. There's a reason why I keep talking about video games, and one is because I love them, and the other is because I think it's the future. So I think, honestly, that one is the one that I'm most skeptical about, but I think that this might be the year, because I think it's still going to be doing well, because, again, it's been doing well every year after year after year, but I think this might be the year where it takes the big leap. Finally, there might be a sports. The problem here is they don't really have a star. The video game community needs like a big star, big mainstream star. So I think that this year they might find one, and this year it might make the whole industry just explode even more than it already has. Well, it's already exploded. It's already probably the most successful entertainment industry that's out there. But I mean, actually being accepted mainstream and stuff like that. People need somebody to follow that's exciting. It's like the issue with baseball. Baseball doesn't really have stars, but it's watched by a majority of the American public just because, it's baseball. We all grew up with baseball, the American pastime. I think esports will overtake some of the major sports in the U.S. I think. Not all of them, obviously nowhere near the NFL or stuff like that, nowhere near the NBA, but it'll make huge gains this year. That's my prediction. So that's it. That's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you have plans for 2020. Hopefully all your plans from 2019 came to pass. Hopefully you had a great year as much as I did. And I hope you're as excited about 2020 as I am. So I think that's it for today. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram or at SuperDario_World. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.